Another day, it's another commitment for Tyler Bowen as he finds his third offensive lineman in Ohio State's 2026 recruiting class. I'm Stephen Means. That's Andrew Gillis. Tucker Smith out of Glendale, Arizona, the number 844 player, number 72 offensive lineman in the class. Andrew, unlike the last two, this one seems to have maybe caught some people off guard a little bit in terms of the timing of it. But is this also the result of Tyler Bowen might just be on a heater here, and the Buckeyes are in the midst of maybe a commitment run happening?
Stephen, what is today's date?
It's March 26th as we're recording this and as the commitment happens.
It is March 26th, and Ohio State currently has 3 pledges in its offensive line class.
It does.
That is the same number that they signed in the entire 2025 cycle.
It is.
And it is March 26th. We have not played the spring game. The NBA and NHL playoffs have not started yet. We haven't reached Major League Baseball's opening day. And Ohio State has the same number of recruits in their offensive line class right now. Again, it's nobody signed anything than they did in the 2025 cycle. You get Sam Greer and Maxwell Riley in the last couple of weeks. Maxwell Riley commits on March 10th. He's the number 114 overall prospect, number 4 player in the state of Ohio. You get another Northeast Ohio kid, Sam Greer, top 200 player again, number 188 in the class, number 7 player in the state of Ohio. Those were 2 players that we had just kind of circled and went, if Ohio State's going to get anybody in this class, these guys got to be the priority, right? We talked for so long about that. And then today rolls around. We had just finished potting for our pro day, and nobody, I don't think, was really kind of waiting on this one. Nobody was ready for it. And here comes Tucker Smith, the number 844 overall prospect, number 72 interior offensive lineman in the 2026 class. Like you said, he's from Sandra Day O'Connor in Arizona. 6'5", 280. This was kind of out of the blue, out of left field. This was not maybe something that a lot of people had really circled. He reported an Ohio State offer on March 21st after a visit. So this is very new for Ohio State. So very clearly, Tyler Bowen, of course, we can't ask him specifically about Tucker Smith, but very clearly Tyler Bowen liked what he saw, liked what he heard, liked what he evaluated when he saw Tucker Smith, because you don't offer somebody and then give them the green light to go ahead and commit 5 days later unless you really like them and you're really secure in your position there. So yeah, Tucker Smith joins this class and Ohio State is on a heater. I know he plays a lot of different positions on the offensive line. You kind of watch his film a little bit, does move around. So we'll see. I think, right now, it's still a little bit unclear as to whether this kid could play tackle or whether you're going to play him at guard or, hey, maybe you want him at center. We'll find out. But the important part of this to me is that Ohio State now has 3 offensive linemen committed in the 2026 class. Tyler Bowen has not even been on the job for 2 months, and Ohio State is starting to rack up these offensive line commits. 3 of their 7 pledges right now in the 2026 class are offensive linemen. That is just something that is not what we expected. This has been a really, really bang-up job from Tyler Bowen. And again, when you add Smith into this class, man, we said the other day with Greer, okay, maybe now you can start to go big game hunting, but you still got to map some other things out. We're getting closer to them going big game hunting now in terms of some of the more elite prospects in the country.
I wouldn't call this big game hunting, but it's not hunting in your pond anymore, right? Maxwell Riley and Sam Greer are Ohio kids. Tucker Smith's on the other side of the country, and I'm just looking around trying to do as much research as possible on this kid. As again, this is happening in real time, and there are some sites who had USC as the heavy favorite, which makes sense. He's from Arizona. You would think that Lincoln Riley would be in there. I'm looking at his offer sheet to try to figure out, is this a relationship that may be carried over from when Tyler Bowen was at Virginia Tech, right? And now that he's here and kind of gotten the green light from Day that, yeah, this is a guy that's Ohio State caliber, he sends him an offer, as you mentioned, on March 21st. Was this kid initially here at some point in the past week, and they saw him in person and saw 6'5", 280 and said, yeah, we can put 30 pounds on that. This will be okay. No, this is just Tyler Bowen potentially thinking he's found a little bit of a diamond in the rough. Like we mentioned, he's in the 840s. So it's not like he's landed the number 45 player and the number 3 offensive lineman in the class. This is a Tyler Bowen took care of business in his backyard. Maybe he's not done in his backyard, but it does seem like this is Tyler Bowen can recruit, but can he evaluate? Can he
Yes.
find the diamond? Because when we talk about Brian Hartline and Tim Walton, because those are the standards at Ohio State, right? Brian Hartline has Garrett Wilson as a 5-star. Yes, he has Jeremiah Smith and Cardinal Tate and Brandon Ennis as 5 stars. But Jackson Smith and Jimbo wasn't a 5-star when he committed to Ohio State. He was barely a 4-star when he first committed to Ohio State. And we're not saying Tucker Smith is going to be competing with Jackson Cantwell by signing day for the top spot in the class amongst offensive linemen. We don't know what's going to happen here. There will be a Buckeye bump because that just comes with being a committed to a blue blood school. But this is, I think, Tyler Bowen's chance to show what type of evaluator he is, and can he find the diamond? Can he find DeJuan Joneses? Right? Can he find the guy who isn't top 75, top 200 recruit in the country? Bring him in and turn him into something that maybe the rest of us aren't seeing right now.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, because his offer list, per 247. Arizona, Arizona State, Arkansas, Iowa State, Kansas State, Minnesota, Oklahoma State, Oregon State, Purdue, USC, and Washington. I didn't say Notre Dame. I didn't say Michigan. I didn't say Penn State. I didn't say Iowa. I didn't say any of those programs. I didn't say Alabama, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Auburn. I didn't list a lot of major programs that a lot of people think Ohio State typically would be kind of swimming in the same waters as, right? Like typically, like when Ohio State gets a kid, especially even, it's from this area, right? From the Midwest, it's the usual suspects. Even out West, typically Oregon is involved. I know USC was involved in this recruitment, obviously, but typically Oregon is involved. Maybe you get Texas, maybe Colorado's involved. This is the one where you start to say, Tyler Bowen sees something. Tyler Bowen, it is March, and sometimes in these commitments, especially if you want to see a player evolve or you want to have a player come camp over the summer, you can wait and you can kind of string these along. Tyler Bowen didn't do that. Tucker Smith did not do that. They felt comfortable pulling the trigger on March 26th, as I said, just a couple of days after an offer. So this is really notable. And Maxwell Riley and Sam Greer were the prospects that I think Tyler Bowen knew he had to take care of when he first started. I got told, by, people close to Maxwell and everything like that, that was a big priority for him right when he first started was, hey, I got to be snappy with this and I got to get to these Northeast Ohio kids. I got to lock down my state. Again, Adam Guthrie had already committed to Clemson. So there was maybe dwindling, if you want to say that. I don't know if that's maybe, too fatalistic, but he did that. He locked down his state. And then what happens when you can do that? You can go out west where it's sunny and 110 degrees in July, and you can go find these type of players when you have your backyard locked down. That is what you can do, and that is exactly what Tyler Bowen has done so far. So, yeah, Ohio State with 3 offensive line commitments in the 2026 class is massive right now, especially when you consider where this offensive line recruiting has been over these last few years, because they're not just, hey, 3 guys, right?
Yeah.
Or, they have taken 2 top 200 kids and then a kid that you probably, you at least according to the rankings that you think is probably not the number 844 player in the class. So Tyler Bowen, I mean, my hat goes off. I'm not wearing a hat, but my hat goes off to Tyler Bowen. I guess that's why I'm not wearing a hat, because Tyler Bowen so far has done a really, really good job so far in 2 months.
And I'm almost interested to see what the next few months look like for Tucker, because you just ran off his offer list. Well, the first one was October 2nd. To Arizona State, which is obviously in his backyard. And then the next day, he got his 2 home state schools to start off October. The first Big Ten schools that got involved were Minnesota and USC as a Big Ten school. That's fine. So it looks like this is offensive line recruiting is different, right? It's later. You have to watch how kids continue to physically develop in a way where with skill positions, not so much all the time. And so this looks like Tucker Smith just got done playing his first year of varsity football, his junior year of high school, and his home state's schools got in first. Some of the other Big Ten schools who are not that far off figured out who he was. Washington, USC got involved. Oregon State's got in Purdue, and SEC. Arkansas is the first SEC school to get involved. Now Ohio State's the first school from the big boy table who's gotten involved. USC should be at the big boy table, but they can't seem to get their act together. But it seems like this is the return of Junior Phil. What? You want me to be Want me to lie?
I know, but it's funny that you. It's
I'm
funny that
going to be
you.
honest here. But Tucker Smith seems like a result of good junior film.
Yeah.
And
Makes sense to me.
Tyler Bowen and Ryan Day went, we want that guy. We're not going to wait around. Though it does seem like I would assume, based off junior film, based off maybe he gets out here at some of these one-day camps and these showcases, Ohio State won't be the last big offer he gets. Now, does that mean, again, that he's going to be a top 50 recruit by signing day? I don't know. That's not what we're saying. What we're essentially saying is just this seems like the early stages of a guy who just got discovered on the recruiting trail, and Ohio State has decided, instead of holding off to see who else gets involved, we like you, we want you, do you want us? The answer was clearly yes on both sides. As a result, 5 days after he gets an offer, he is in Ohio State's recruiting class as the 7th player in it for a class that now sits 12th nationally. They're starting to climb as they build their class. Still headlined by 5-star Chris Henry Jr. as the number 2 wide receiver in the country. I mean, this is the 3rd guy who's not currently living in Ohio. Chris Henry committed when he was still living in Ohio. So for guys who are not Ohio natives, he's the 2nd guy joining Corbin Fordham, the tight end from Florida, as Ohio State commits. 7 overall, 2nd straight day that Tyler Bowen has added an offensive lineman to its 2026 recruiting class, and the 3rd one in like the last 10 days. So Tyler Bowen clearly getting directly to work in a class where not only does he need quality, he needs quantity. He's up to 3, maybe he needs like 5 or 6, so he's like halfway there. Get the text, 614-350-3315, 2-week free trial, $3.99 after that. And if you like these videos, go find Buckeye Talk wherever you listen to podcasts. We talk recruiting, we talk Ohio State football, everything you could possibly want. Tucker Smith, commit number 7 for Ohio State. He's Andrew. I'm Steven. We're out of here.